So how we doing, fellas? So I'm moving out of my apartment in a couple weeks. And in the process of cleaning the place up, trying to get this table a little bit better organized and get everything squared away, because I've got like stacks and stacks of stuff hanging around that I put aside to like put into trade binders, or just extra stuff that I haven't properly put away yet. A bunch of stacks of cards from Innistrad that I need to either like put in with the extra stuff or just throw into the Innistrad box, whatever. And I found the charger for the camera's battery. So I've got this hanging around, plus like a mostly universal charger that I bought to replace it a few weeks back. Yeah. I'm in the process of seeing about getting ads thrown on my videos on YouTube. I figure in order to reward my subscribers for subscribing, I won't put ads on any videos until they're at least a week old. So watch them right after they're posted, or you're probably going to see an ad. I don't honestly expect I'm going to make any real amount of money off of this, but hey, it's worth a shot. If I get if I get complaints about it, or especially if I'm just not making any money off it, I'm going to say, hey, screw it. I don't need ads on these things anyway. Why bother if I'm not making any money, right? I know some people watch these videos. I'm not going to pretend to understand exactly why. Some of you find me entertaining or something. I don't know. So, drafted twice this past weekend. Oops. And I had a good night in drafting. Really good night. Let's see, put all that aside. So, first draft, pack 1, open an Angelic Overseer. That was pretty nice. That was really nice. Pack 2, you're not going to see it here because I kicked it into the prize pool and didn't bother getting it back. Pack 2, I cracked the Ginger Angel, the Angel of Flight Alabaster. That was really nice. And then pack 3, by the time I get to pack 3, I'm already I'm already in white, and I've got a lot of green and red support cards hanging around. And then I open a Qawamity Township, and I'm like, woohoo! So let's quickly try and get these put out and show you what I had in the deck. Blah blah blah. See if this is right one. Hold on. Come on, come on. There we go. Alright, that looks about right. Let's see, double check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 19, 20. Okay. So, here's what we're looking at. I ended up running green, white, red. Now, normally I'm not big on running 3 colors. I don't generally do it unless I have to. However, and this is the great however, I got 2 Shimmering Grottos, a Traveler's Amulet, and a Mulch. I figured I could pull it off. Especially seeing as how it's like the 4 red cards I was running. You only see 3 of them here. The 4 red cards I was running each only required a single red mana. The only green card I was running that required more than 1 green mana was the Uvenwald Mystics, and amongst white I had 2 cards that required double white, and no, 3 that required double white. So I figured, and a lot of them on the high end for the most part, and one of them on the high end of the mana curve, so I wasn't too worried about it. I was main decking the Qawamity Township, which only saw play once, and even then I didn't even use its ability, which is kind of wonky, right? So, I got the Harvest Pyre, a Rolling Temblor. There's some nice removal right there. I mean, really nice removal. A Mask of Avacyn. I love that card, at least in draft. I haven't tried using it in any constructed yet. Constructed-wise, I think it's basically just another defensive card for like EDH. Get your general on the board or a really valuable creature, suit it up, make it hexproof or shroud, whatever you're using, so that your opponent can't touch it. So I'm thinking, Mask of Avacyn, Swift Boots, Lightning Greaves, those are your big defensive cards in EDH, amazingly enough. At least in any color. Village Ironsmith was there because he's a body. He's just a body. That and First Strike is nice. And as long as he hasn't transformed, he's a human, which works great with the Angelic Overseer. Right? Abyssinian Priest. Nice. A pair of Butcher's Cleavers, goes to the Priest, goes to the Ironsmith, goes to the Woodland Sleuth, goes to the Uvenwald Mystics, and even if I don't draw any of them, a 3-point power boost is kind of nice, I mean, yeah, if I'm not putting it on a human, it's just Greatsword, but that still makes it limited playable, especially since I like to run evasive creatures. At 2 Chapelgeists, always nice. An Orchard Spirit, also rather nice. Rally the Peasants, which came in handy. 2 Bonds of Faith, which are good in a bunch of ways. Oh, let me tell you something once. I've got an Abyssinian Priest on the board, and what I ended up doing is I ended up suiting up the Priest. No, I wasn't suiting up the Priest. I ended up and my opponent's got like a pair of creatures on the board that I can't really swing into. And so what I did was I threw a Bonds of Faith on the Priest, and I Rolling Temblor and swung for 3. It was awesome, and he never really recovered from that very well. That was pretty nice. So yeah, Bonds of Faith was nice. Very nice. Smite the Monsters, there's another fun removal card. Uvenwald Mystics, hey, it's a 3/3 human. Works with the Overseer, and if it transforms, having a 5/5 regenerator is pretty good. Demon Male Hauberk provides a nice power boost. There's a Woodland Sleuth. Hey, it's a human. Possible grave recursion, all well and good. A couple of the cards you're not seeing here, I had a Heretic's Punishment that never actually came up. That got kicked in the prize pool, I didn't get it back. Oh well. The Ginger Angel I mentioned, during your upkeep, return a spirit card from your graveyard to your hand. I've got 3 spirits in the deck, And I've got a way to sacrifice them, too. And the last rare that was in here that you're not seeing here was Budget's nuts. Gutter Grime. The green enchantment that whenever a non-token creature goes to your graveyard from play, put a counter on the Gutter Grime and put an ooze token into play, and the ooze token has power and toughness equal to the number of counters on the Gutter Grime. So yeah, you can make those tokens really big after a while, especially seeing as how I had a way to recur spirits and a sacrifice output. Yippee yay. So unfortunately that particular combo never actually came up, but I was pretty, simply because of the fact that I had it, I was confident of my ability to win in the event of a stall. I believe my keeper out of this was the Township. I threw the Angelic Overseer and the other rares into the prize pool. I came in first. This deck did really, really nicely for me. No complaints about it whatsoever. It was pretty awesome. Prize pool, if I'm remembering correctly, I picked up a Sulphur Falls, an Isolated Chapel. I got the Angelic Overseer back, Drownyard, Vulcanwrath Marauders, and a Foil Rally the Peasants, if I'm remembering correctly. So that was a good draft for me. Sideboard. Sideboard had a bunch of stuff. There's a Pitchfork that I didn't run. First Strike is nice and all, but I think I was already kind of equipment heavy, you know, with 2 Cleavers, the Mask, and the Demon Mail. I was pushing the limits on how many non-creature cards I could have in there, you know. Boneyard Worm, didn't bother with it. Grave Bramble, it's pure defense, didn't bother with it. I figured it wouldn't work too well as in a deck that needs to keep its mana more balanced, you know, because of all the cards. Spider Spawning, I honestly, if I recall correctly, I made it a point to grab that when it was going around, simply on account of the fact that I draft flyers aggressively, you know. Grizzled Outcasts, they just plain didn't make the cut for the deck. They're not bad, they just didn't make the cut. Urgent Exorcism, it's a sideboard card, really. You don't main deck that unless you're desperate for filling card slots, right? Thrabbing Purebloods, whoop-dee-dee. Unburial Rites is a really good card. I think I picked it up early when I wasn't 100% certain what my secondary card color was going to be. And given that I got 2 Shimmering Grottos in the deck, and a Mulch, and blah blah blah, and Amulet, I was really thinking about splashing that in. I really was, but I didn't, and things worked out pretty well, so I think I made the right choice. Skeletal Grimace, it's not bad, it's not great either. Gruesome Deformity, the card doesn't excite me, it doesn't excite most people. I have seen some people use it to decent effect, I really have. But, well, it's still not a great or exciting card. Abattoir Ghoul, I think that was a hate draft when I picked him up. But basically there was nothing in the pack at that point that was going to improve my deck, so I just saw him sitting there and I'm like, yoink. Delver's Secrets, I think I picked him up relatively early in pack 1. Well, maybe modestly late in pack 1, I don't recall. But the point being is, like, you know, it's a really good card. It really is. It's, you know, it sees tournament play, guys. It sees constructed play. It's a good, aggressive card. The One-Eyed Scarecrow, once again, that thing's a hate draft. I draft flyers a lot. I don't like seeing those on my opponent's board. They're a pain in the butt. Wooden Stake, meh. It's kind of a ho-hum card. Doesn't excite me. So there's that. That was a good draft. Came in first place. Very good for me. Second draft this past night, Friday night. Put those aside. Let's see about setting this thing up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, 20, 21, 22, and yep, okay. Okay. Actually, wait, no, I've got a card in here that wasn't originally in here. I'm trying to think of what it was. Unless I cut... Yeah, maybe I cut myself down to 16 lands for this deck then. I probably did, now that I think about it. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22... Yeah, I probably cut myself down to 16 lands for this deck. I'm trying to remember. I'm not 100% certain. I think this is more or less it. Less 2 cards that were put into prize pool, and I don't think I got those cards back either. Did I? Nope. I did not get those cards back. Okay. So you might note that some of these cards are still sleeved and some of them aren't, because I went to a pre-release on Saturday and unsleeved some of the cards. All well and good. Alright, so what you're not seeing here. Pack 1, I opened Kessig Cage Breakers. You don't pass that thing if you can help it. You really don't. So pack 1, I opened Kessig Cage Breakers, and I finished drafting pack 1. And at that point, I'm mostly in green, maybe red. I don't know what my secondary color is going to be yet. Not 100% certain. Pack 2, I opened Kessig Wolf Run and a Bloodline Keeper, the rare transformed vampire who makes vampire tokens, and when you transform him, not only does he continue to make vampire tokens, he buffs all vampires. Oh yeah. So that was really tough. That was a tough choice to make, but I was already in green, so I took the Wolf Run. And I think things turned out pretty well. I mean, once again, running 2 Shimmering Grottos, the Wolf Run, there's a Traveler's Amulet, I'm running a pair of Mulch. Here's where things got wonky. I think I splashed a couple of planes into the deck, even though I'm not main decking any white cards, because the Shimmering Grottos, I had 2 Avacyn's Pilgrim, 1 regular, 1 foil, and 2 travel preparation. So I figure, having the ability to, pay the flashbacks and the travel preps would be really, really nice. So I went with it. I think I had maybe 1 or 2 planes in there tops. And the deck worked out really well. A lot because I had a lot of good removal cards. So it's removal, I have Land Fetch, and 2 Blazing Torches, Fear of the Bitten was cute, a Mask, of course, the 2 Travel Preps, the 2 Mulches, an Ambush Viper, 2 Blood Crazed Unites, Curse of Pierced Heart, an Orchard Spirit, 3 Brimstone Volleys. I picked up 1 of those in pack 2, and then I drafted 2 in a row in pack 3, and I'm like, woohoo! You don't pass those things if you can help it. It's one of the best commons in the set, at least for draft. Kessig Wolf, oh well and good. Hey, first drink. The Feral Reg Wolf, I'm not 100% certain if I had it in the deck or not. If it was in the deck, then the deck was only running 16 land. If it wasn't in the deck, then I was running the usual 17. I can't really remember off the top of my head. I wish I could. Oh well. The Hanweir Watchkeep, not bad. I mean, it's alright. It's a good solid blocker, and when he transforms, he's beefy as all hell. And then we have a Festerhide Boar, 3/3 trample, possibly 5/5 trample. He carried his weight. I pulled off some really great plays with this deck. What was really kind of funny is the guy that I passed the Bloodline Keeper to after we finished drafting, he turned to me and said, just out of curiosity, what did you take over the Keeper? As he flashed the Bloodline Keeper. And I'm like, well, I figured it was either him or the Kessig Wolf Run, and seeing as how I opened, Cage Breakers in pack 1, I'm like, it was a tough choice, you know. But in the end, I think I made the right choice because Wolf's Run won me games. It so won me games. But what was funny is the fellow with the Bloodline Keeper, when I went up against him, he was largely playing, if I recall correctly, he was playing red-green zombies and vampires, predominantly vampires. And one of the things that's frequently overlooked with the Blazing Torch is that a creature suited up with it cannot be blocked by vampires and zombies. So I just suited up a creature. I want to say it was a Kessig Wolf. I suited up Kessig Wolf, threw Fury of the Bitten and Blazing Torch on it, and just started swinging for the fences. And that won me the game there. I played against Doug, who's a little bit out of practice because he didn't get to play much over the holiday season. So he's a little out of practice. But no, I did obscene things against Doug. Like, yeah, first turn, Avacyn's Pilgrim. And then second turn, I'm trying to remember what I did on second turn. Second turn, I dropped a 3-drop. I dropped the Kessig Wolf, if I recall correctly. So it's first turn, Avacyn's Pilgrim. Second turn, Kessig Wolf. Third turn, I dropped the Pair of the Blood-Crazed Neonates. And I started going to town. At least in one of the games with Doug. Doug just, wow. Poor Doug. That was an incredible opening. That was probably one of the best openings I could have gotten with this deck. It really was. And I ended up trashing people hard with this deck. I came in first again. This made me happy. What can I say? Winning is nice. I like it when I win. I've been doing really well. I had been doing really well lately. Like I said, this past Friday night, I came in first both drafts. The week before, I could only draft once. I came in second. A week before that, I drafted and I came in first. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty nice. Looking at what didn't make it into the deck. Put this stuff down for a minute. Alright, here we go. Stuff that didn't make it into the deck, Skursdag Cultist, the Traitor's Blood, and the Riot Devils. I mean, Traitor's Blood and the Cultist make for a nice little combo. They didn't make it in. The Battleground Geist is a good flyer. The Fortress Crab, late pick. I don't know. I might have gotten stuck with it. I don't remember. It's not. How can I put this? It's a good card if you're playing like a blue deck that needs defense a lot, because Fortress Crab's damn near impossible to get through. You either have to go above it, around it, under it, or just find some way to or move it, make it not an issue. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt. But unfortunately, it's nothing on the offense. Well, next to nothing. It has a power of 1. 2 Stitcher's Apprentices I snapped up because I know they're combo-rific. And if there's nothing else in a pack for you, and you see a Stitcher's Apprentice and you see something in there that's like combo-rific for your opponents, go ahead and take it. Go ahead. Caravan Vigil, I thought about running. Obviously, I didn't. Make-A-Wish, I picked up. I figured maybe I'd use it, maybe I wouldn't. Obviously, I didn't. There's a Kinder Catch. I picked that up when there was like maybe 3 cards left in a pack, and I look at it and I'm like, everything in here is jank. Everything. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll take the Kinder Catch. Maybe I'll need beef. Ended up not running it. Somber Walled Spider. Ended up not running it. I was happy to have it in sideboard, though, just in case. Naturalize. Another thing nice to have in sideboard, just in case. A Curse of Oblivion and a Rotting Fen Snake. Didn't really care. Trepanation Blade in the sideboard. It was a nice thing to have, but I just didn't want to run it because I had better stuff. I think. Prize pool. I picked up a Woodland Cemetery, a Clifftop Retreat, a second Wolf Run. Yeah, 2 Wolf Runs in 1 draft. I'll take it. I will take it. Sever the Bloodline, a Runecatcher's Pike. That's trade binder right there. I got plenty of those, and I last I got a foil rotting bench snake. Whoop-de flippin'-dee, right? But yeah, I did really awesome that night. Really awesome. And then I hit the pre-release the next day. Hold on a second while I bust that out. Woo, pre-release foil. Yeah, that was the promo card for the pre-release. Yay. It's alright. Makes for a fun casual card, right guys? So, try and get this business sorted out real quick. And I ended up with a weird, in my opinion, weird card pool. I opened up my Innistrad boosters first, and I was rather, I found it rather interesting to find 2 Curse of the Pierced Heart in my opening pack, in the first pack I opened. That made me hope I was picking up good red stuff in the rest of my packs, you know? Because, you know, 2 Curse of the Pierced Hearts? Yeah, I'll do that. All damn day. All day. Yeah, 1 regular, 1 foil. It was funky. It was funky. Unfortunately, a lot of other things did not go quite as well as I would have liked. I mean, some things ended up being awesome, others not. So, put down what I got here. Alrighty. The only rare that made it into the deck was a Stencia Bloodhall. It won me a game. Only one, but hey, you know, that's why it's in there. It's a one of in, you know, I've seen it used as a one of in tournament play. You know, it's good for a stall breaker. That's about it, really. But you know, it does it pretty well, and pretty much nothing's got protection. Well, no, I can't think of any way for, you know, a player right now to prevent direct damage by land in this environment, you know. But whatever. A Bump in the Night, Reckless Waif, Blazing Torch. From the new set, we've got a Wolf Hunter's Quiver. It's a 1-drop equipment. It costs 5 to equip it. That's prohibitively high, but I think I know why. You tap it for 1 damage, target creature or player, or 3 to target werewolf, which is nice. And that, I think, is the big cause why it costs 5 to equip it. So that way you can't, like, cheaply move it from one creature to another, and just, I equip it to this creature, I tap it for 3 to your werewolf. I equip it to this creature, I tap it for 3 to the same werewolf, it's dead. I equip it to this creature, I tap it for 3 to that werewolf. Yeah, it can be nasty and annoying. So yeah, I understand why it's got a high equip cost. I do. Because otherwise, in limited, you know, draft, sealed deck, it will just tear werewolves apart. Or for that matter, any creature with a low toughness. If the equip cost was too low, you could start tearing apart good-sized creatures with it. I mean, you could tear apart like a 3 toughness non-werewolf with it if the equip cost was low. So, yeah, there's that. I understand. I got a black cat. No, really, I do. Ghana. Yes, Black Cat from the new set. It's a 1/1 for a colorless and a black. When it dies, your opponent discards a card at random. It's nice to see random discard again. It really is. 2 Curse the Pierced Heart, and Ash Mouthhound. He's funky. Torch Fiend is nice to have. He's a colorless and a red for a 2/1. You pay red and sacrifice him to destroy target artifact. That's really nice. I like it. You know, it's artifact removal done pretty well overall, you know. It's like, instead of, you know, having your artifact removal sit in the sideboard because, yeah, it's just going to remove artifacts, who cares? It sits there, as I was saying. Yeah, you know, you play it, it can swing for 2, And, you know, if you need artifact removal, hey, guess what? You got it. It's nice. Executioner's Hood, it's a 2 to play, 2 to equip. Equip creature gets Intimidate. That's not bad. I mean, it's not fantastic, but hey, it's an evasion ability, and it's not necessarily a bad one. And since it's an equipment, if you lose the creature, the equipment stays on board. Always nice. The reason why equipment is overall better than creature enchantments, you know. A Tribute to Hunger, nice removal card. Grave Purge, which is a functional reprint of Footbottom Feast. Kessig Wolf, he's nice, he's solid. Riot Devils, not bad. 2 copies of Fires of Undeath, or as I like to call it, Sexy Burn. Sightless Ghoul, the 2/2 for 4 that can't block but has Undying. It's not bad. A Falconwrath Noble, he's nice. Abattoir Ghoul, nice. Afflicted Deserter, he's not bad. Heavens forbid it. He flips. He's artifact removal. Yay! Pitchburn Devils. Hey, you know it's a 3/3 body. Harrowing Journey. It's, you know, it's 5 mana and 3 life for 3 cards. That's all right. In a pinch, you can even use it offensively, though I wouldn't. Unless, of course, your opponent was at 3 life or less. In which case, it's like, boom, draw some cards, I win the game. Into the Maw, hey, you know, it's a removal card, you run it. Especially, heavens forbid, it's sealed deck. You know, you take what removal you can, you know. And wasn't too bad. I mean, because I had, like, you know, maybe removal, 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 not too bad, you know. The Grave Purge is nice because even if you don't want to recur anything from your graveyard, you can cast it with no targets and just draw a card with it, you know. Yes, you can do that. Just put any number of target creatures from your graveyard to the top of your library, draw a card. Guess what, guys? 0's a number. You can cast it with no targets. Always remember that 0 is a number. That's a useful thing to know. That's a useful thing to know, right, guys? First round, I went up against Mox Dave, and he beat me game 1. Games 2 and 3, I beat him pretty good. Especially game 3 was just freaking horrible because I ended up with like half my removal in my opening hand, and I ended up like top decking a few threats, and I pretty much nothing he had stayed on the board more than like a turn and a half, maybe. I don't know. I just nuked his stuff hard. Second round, I also beat my opponent 2-3. Was rather pleased by that. Third round, I got beaten. Wait, did I say 2-3? Yeah, 2 out of 3. Third round, I got beaten 2 out of 3. Fourth round, I got beaten 2 out of 3. Fifth round, I got swept. Fifth round, I went up against someone who I don't think I've talked about in my draft videos, but I know I have in my sorting videos. I encountered him. I had issues with this fellow in the past, and I don't trust the guy in the least. He's been disrespectful to me in the past, and proved himself to be intellectually dishonest. So I did not enjoy having to play against this guy, and of course had issues with him. I mean, while shuffling his deck, he said I was looking at his cards, and I'm like, what? No. But, you know, he insisted. I'm like, all right, look, if you think I'm cheating, go and grab the tournament organizers and, you know, do whatever you feel you need to do. You know, so the guy was a great big prick, which I expected. I mean, he played a good game, so he beat me 2-zip. You know, I told him good game. Because, hey, you know what, I'm not going to let my personal opinion of the man and his personality get in the way of recognizing that he is a good player. That's one of the one of the classic downfalls you can make. Don't let your negative opinion of a person get in the way of the fact that they're a good player. Because being good at the game doesn't mean you're a good person. And if you're gonna sit there and say, well, this guy's horrible, bad person, it's just like, yeah, you know what? If you don't take him seriously in the game, he's gonna take you down just as easily as someone you do respect. Possibly even easier, because your guard's not going to be where it should be, because you're going to be more focused on him as a person than him as a player. So, yeah, there's that. Let me see what I got here. Show you the rest of my card pool. Chalice of Life / Chalice of Death. Didn't run it. No problems there. Scorch the Fields didn't run because it's 5 mana to nuke a land and 1 damage to each human. I didn't think it was going to be worth it. I really didn't. Immerwolf. It's cute. It's a 2/2 for colors, red, green, intimidate. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. Non-human werewolves you control can't transform. That basically means is when your werewolves transform to their more powerful side, they're locked in. That's fun. Black that I didn't run a Falconwrath Torturer. Maybe I should have. I don't know. I mean, I was, trying to do the most I could with the card slots I had. He's a 2/1 for 3. You can sacrifice a creature to give him flying till end of turn. If the sacrificed creature was a human, he gets +1/+1 counter. Which, it's not necessarily bad. But I just didn't think he was strong enough, especially since I wasn't really running much in the way of humans, Spiteful Shadows, it's an aura. Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to its controller. Meh. Reap the Seagraph. It's a 2 colorless and a black for a sorcery that gives you a 2/2 zombie token with a flashback cost of 4 and a blue. If I was running blue and black, yeah, I would have used it. Otherwise, no. No. Hey, here, basically, it's 2 and a black for a Scathe Zombie. That's what it is right there. It's a Scathe Zombie. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's necessarily a bad card, but I just didn't feel it was strong enough. Corpse Lunge, I didn't bother to use. Disciple of Gristlebond, didn't bother with. Altar's Reap, didn't bother with. Curse of Thirst, maybe I should have bothered with, I don't know. It's 4 and a black, enchant player, curse. During enchanted players' upkeep, Curse of Thirst deals damage to him equal to the number of curses attached to him. Seeing so I had 2 Curse of Pierced Heart in there, that could theoretically be a good-sized chunk of damage every turn, but I decided not to run it. I figured 5 mana for that effect just wasn't worth it. Green, I had a lot of green. Yay, green. I didn't choose to run any of it. I had a Gutter Grime, a Ghoul Tree, the Kessig Recluse. It's not bad. The casting cost is a little on the high side, but hey, you know what? 2/3 Reach and Death Touch for 2 and double black. It's not bad. A pair of Mulches. If I ran green, those would have gone in, especially, a Bramble Crush. That was nice to have from the green part of my pool. A Spider Spawning, Somberwald Spider, Hollowhenge Scavenger, a Caravan Vigil, a Woodland Sleuth, a Strangled Root Geist. He's double green for a 2/1 haste undying. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad, Hunger the Howl Pack is kind of spiffy. For an instant, it's not bad, For those that don't know, it's green, instant. You put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. In Morbid, it's 3 counters instead. Village Survivors, it's 4/5 Vigilance, and if you have 5 life or less, other creatures you control have Vigilance. So that's kind of funky. A pair of Dawn-Treader Elks, it's a 2/2 that you can sack to tutor for a basic land and put it onto the board tapped. You know, it's not bad. It's a decent little utility creature. You know, you can swing with it, you can land fix with it. It's not bad. What else did I have here? Grave Tiller Worm. It's a 4/4 trample on Morbid. It hits the board with 4+1/+1 counters. And a Wild Hunger. 2 and a green. Target creature gets +1/+1 in trample with a flashback of 3 and a red. It's pretty solid. Pretty solid. I just felt that, you know, most of my good removal was in red and black, so that's what I should have been running. There are other ways I could have gone with this deck. I'm not going to say they were the right way. I'm not going to say they were the wrong way, but it is what it is. I really wanted to think about going white-blue, or blue and anything else, really, because I had some interesting stuff in blue. But look at my white right now. Getting ahead of myself. I mean, let's see. We got the Silverclaw Griffin. It's a nice flyer. Chapelgeist. There's a nice flyer. We got this lovely fellow who's a 2/2 that taps to make a human token. If you're at 5 life or less, he gives other humans +2/+2. A Smite the Monstrous, a Moment of Heroism, Unruly Mob, a Skillful Lunge. It's one colorless and a white for an instant that gives a creature +2/+0 in first strike. Elder Cathar, a Rally the Peasants, a Spare from Evil, Bar the Door, creatures you control get +0/+4 till end of turn. Interesting. Break of Day, creatures you control get +1/+1. If you have 5 life or less, those creatures are also indestructible till end of turn. Interesting. The Elgod Inquisitor, he's a 2/2 lifelinker that when he dies you get a 1/1 flying white spirit token. The Loyal Cathar, he's a double white for a 2/2 vigilance. When he dies, put him back into play transformed as a 2/1 zombie that can't block. That's kind of interesting. A Nevermore. Meh. I also had a foil Drogskull Captain. He's a colorless white and a blue for a 2/2 flyer. Other spirits you control get +1/+1 hexproof. Pretty funky. I like it. One of the reasons why I really wanted to run blue in this deck that I didn't, maybe I should have. Maybe I should have. Let's see what we get here. Okay, here we go. I got a Nephalia Sea Kite. It's a 2/3 flyer with flash for 3 and a blue. 2 Delvers of Secrets, 2 Stormbound Geists, and Increasing Confusion. That card alone can win games in Limited. Because, hey, you know what? Most people are going to be running a 40-card deck. Their opening hand alone pulls 7 cards out of the deck. That means you're looking at 33 cards left. Let's say you cast this thing on, I don't know, let's say you cast it on turn 5, right? So your opponent's drawn 5 cards. So that's a total of 12 cards out of his deck, provided he hasn't mulliganed, which means he's got 28 cards left. You mill him for 4. He's got 24 cards left. A few turns later, you flash it back and declare X as 6. You've just milled him out of 12 more cards. If you have any other mill cards in the deck, there's a good chance he's already done. You know, that's it. But it's interesting. I'm not going to say I like it, but I've never really tried to run mill in draft. I tend to be more aggressive than that. I don't know. But whatever. Other fun stuff. We got a Grip Tide. It's 3 and a blue for an instant that puts a creature on top of owner's library. It's nice. Spectral Flight, Armored Scab, 2 Stitcher's Apprentices, Stitch Drake, Makeshift Mauler, Screeching Scab. It's a 2/1. When it hits the board, you mill yourself for 2. Chill of Foreboding. It's a 2 and a blue sorcery. Each player puts the top 5 cards of their library into their graveyard, flashes back for 8 mana. That's a high flashback cost, though. And Relentless Scabs, it's 5 mana for a 4/4. It's an Undying. As an additional cost to cast him, exile a creature card from your graveyard. It's interesting. Not sure what I think of it. But yeah, I was thinking about going like blue-black or blue-white. I don't know. Retrospect, should I have? I don't know. I don't know. And you know, made the decision that I made. I was thinking about showing up for a second day on Sunday, but I couldn't really sleep well on Saturday and ended up sleeping really late on Sunday, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. And that's that. But I did get the so-called pity pack for participating. I haven't even opened it yet. Hold on a second while I go fetch that, and I can open it right here, you know. Ta-da! You Dark Ascension booster. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. So taking a look at what I got out of the pity pack, I've got a Dark Ascension Transform proxy card. I've got Soren's Emblem. Yay. I got a foil Sexy Burn. You know, that's going in the trade binder, man. Hinterland Hermit, he's a 2/1, transforms into a 3/2 that must be blocked. EPA. I got a Zombie Apocalypse, guys. 3 and triple black for sorcery, return all zombies from graveyard to battlefield. They come into play tapped, and then destroy all humans. Now what's funny about that, I mean really funny about that, is it totally screws Changelings over. Because you play a Zombie Apocalypse, every Changeling in every graveyard comes onto the board, and then they're destroyed. That's just awesome. That's just awesome. And you don't even have time in between to try and regenerate them or bounce them or save them, because, you know, it all happens while the card's resolving. You don't have an opportunity to play spells and effects. Kid science. Fun stuff. Skursdag Flare, 1/1, 3 and a black, tap, sack a human, destroy target creature. It's not bad. Turns humans into removal cards. Heckling Fiends, it's a 2/2, you pump 2 and a red, target creature attacks this turn if able. It's alright. Deadly Allure, it's a black, it's a sorcery, creature gains death touch until end of turn and must be blocked. And flashes back for green. Interesting. Interesting. Sightless Ghoul. Talked about him earlier a little bit. He's okay. Gather the Townfolk, and you get apparent 1/1 human tokens. If you're at 5 life or less, you get 5. Bone to Ash, 2 and a blue, instant, counter a creature, draw a card. I don't like Bone to Ash, and maybe I would play it in draft or sealed, but well, the reason why I don't like it is because it's strictly inferior to Dismiss, which has the exact same casting cost, draws you a card, and counters a spell. That's limited to creatures. Dismiss is not. Dismiss just says counter. Executioner's Hood. We talked about that one a little bit earlier. It's all right. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. A Somberwald Dryad, 2/2 Forest Walk for a Coulson and a green. You know, it's a better. You know, it's a grizzly bear with a different tribe and Forest Walk. It's interesting seeing another Dryad creature printed. Haven't seen any of those. I don't recall seeing any of those for a while. I don't think we had any Dryads in Scar's block. I don't recall any Dryads in M12, but we haven't seen this Dryad in a while, I guess. We got our Clinging Mists. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. If you have 5 life or left, tap all attacking creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap. That's kind of spiffy. We got a Forge Devil. It's a 1/1 when he hits the board. 1 to you, 1 to target creature. It's not bad. I mean, it eliminates weenies, right? And a Faithless Looting. It's a sorcery. Draw 2, then discard 2. Flashes back. It's a red to cast. It flashes back for 2 and a red. I rather like it. I really do. I think it's better than what is it, Desperate Ravings, Frantic Ravings, whatever it is. The red one with a blue flashback cost. And you are making some weirdest noises. I don't know what's going on with Kat. Lately she's been sounding like she's congested when she tries to when she goes to groom herself and stuff. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. Maybe it's just that she's old. I mean, she is old. She's like, what, 15 years old, I think? Somewhere around that. Around the upper edge of the lifespan, you know? And there's my black cat. I'm telling you something right now, when she dies, I refuse to discard. Alrighty. There's that. Have a good one, fellows. Catch you later. Be good. Be safe.